Hey guys, hey, this is Anne-Marie. This is BaldGirlWillTravel channel. On this channel, I talk about style, fashion, travel, not necessarily in that order. I believe that style has no expiration date and that travel is the best self-care there is. And in this video, I am going to talk to you about my least favorite place in Mexico. Hey y'all, hey, it's Anne-Marie, BaldGirlWillTravel. And in this video today, we are going to talk about my least favorite place in Mexico. If that's of interest to you, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, but do so constructively and respectfully. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss it when another video drops. If you've been following me for a while, you know I live in Mexico and I love it here. I love the people, the culture, the food, the beauty, all of it. But there is one place in Mexico that I absolutely hate going to. Can you guess where it is? And I was just recently there. I won't hold you in suspense. It's Cancun. Now, if you've been following me, it shouldn't really shock you when I've talked about the things I like or dislike about Caribbean locations. I just got back from Cancun. I went because my cousin got married there. I love her dearly. I would go anywhere in the world to celebrate her. And so I would go anywhere in the world to celebrate her wedding, and she chose Cancun, so Cancun it was. And to be clear, her wedding was beautiful. We stayed at the Hyatt Ziva Cancun, and the hotel did an excellent job. The staff were warm and professional, the room was lovely, and the beach was that perfect white sand, turquoise water combo. The whole postcard fantasy that is associated with Cancun. But the food, let's just say, it was okay. And that was typical of most all-inclusives, anywhere you go in the world. They water down the food a lot. The food felt very toned down, not reflective of what real Mexican food can and should taste like. And that's not really surprising because most all-inclusive make the food, frankly, to suit the palates of the unmelanated majority of tourists who visit. So the food wasn't bad, but it wasn't Mexico to me. It was Mexico Lite. But none of that is the reason or indicative of why I dislike Cancun so much. My main reason for disliking Cancun is that it really comes down to two things: the airport experience and the endless hustling and scamming. And beyond that, the whole setup feels like Miami. And y'all know I don't like Miami at all. It doesn't feel like Mexico to me. It feels like one big tourist trap from start to finish. Shiny, overpriced, and frankly exhausting. So I'm going to share a couple experiences that just occurred on this trip that are indicative of why I dislike Cancun. The first one is going to be the eyebrow pencil ripoff. So here's one small but telling example. I went into Sephora because I ran out of my favorite Benefit brow pencil. This is an eyebrow pencil that I swear by. I usually go to Querétaro, Mexico, which is about an hour or so from where I live, and I buy that same pencil for about $24 USD, about exactly what I pay in the US. But in Cancun, it was like $30, even more than duty free in Mexico City or even Cancun Airport, where it was about $26. So yeah, everything in Cancun feels like it's overpriced and it's a ripoff to me. But the bigger example is the taxi no change game. So there's this issue with taxis there anyway, but I needed to get to La Isla Shopping Center, which by the way is a pretty dope, gorgeous shopping mall in Cancun. It has everything from H&M to Gucci. The hotel told me a taxi there would be 250 pesos, which is about $15 USD. Now, yes, $15 for a 15-minute drive is definitely a ripoff, but it is what it is. That's what they said it was going to cost. I said, fine. When we arrived, I handed the driver 500 pesos and I asked for 250 pesos back. He shuffled around in his wallet and handed me $5 and 100 pesos, shorting me by about 60 pesos, then said, "No tengo cambio," as in, I don't have any change. Sir, how are you driving people around all day and you don't have any change? Be serious. But this is a common scam, and I've experienced it where I live as well, but I rarely take taxis where I live. What taxi drivers will do a lot to you in Mexico and definitely Cancun is pretend that they don't have change so that they can keep your change because they think it's not a lot of money to you, so you won't mind them shorting you. But I have experienced this almost every time I've been in Cancun and taken a taxi. And I usually try to have exact change for that reason. But since I wasn't originally planning the side trip to Sephora, I didn't think about it when I was withdrawing money. So I didn't have smaller bills. I only had bills in denominations of 500 pesos. And that's how they got me. So now I'm ready to go back to the hotel from the shopping center. I go to the taxi stand and I specifically tell the guy, the driver needs to have change for 500 pesos. He says, yes, that won't be a problem. I get in the taxi. This is a different taxi. We get back to the hotel. He pulls me up to the hotel and then I hand him the 500 pesos. He has to give me 250 pesos back. And once again, we start with the I don't have change nonsense. But this time I told him, well, I'll just go into the hotel and get change. And then, of course, magically, he had change. So this is something you have to look out for. And the best thing to do is just get small bills in denominations of 50s and 100s when you land in Cancun and give the drivers exact change. Don't play the no tango cambio game with them. But the number one reason that I hate going to Cancun is the airport chaos. And let me tell you, the airport is one of the biggest circles of chaos in Cancun when you arrive and when you're departing. Is just pure foolishness. People swarm you before you can even pull your suitcase out of the car. Someone's grabbing at your luggage. Another one's asking you where you're going. And another one is pretending to help you in some other way to find immigration usually. All trying to hustle for a tip or some other kind of payment. It's very, very irritating. And you have to just keep saying no over and over. Even at the domestic terminal, it's bad. But the international terminal, that's a complete circus. I flew out of the domestic terminal. Now, I am used to flying in and out of Cancun and flying domestically. So as soon as the guy took my suitcase out of the trunk of the car, I immediately grabbed it. And so when the guy rolled up talking about, do you need help? I was like, no. And all I said was just no, no, and no, and just kept walking. And that's really the best thing for you to do is to just get a hold of your luggage. If you don't need anyone to help you with your luggage, just say no and keep walking. If you have multiple pieces of luggage and you need it, negotiate, and you need help, negotiate what you're going to pay them before you let them touch your luggage. The other thing is, if you are flying in and out internationally, there is a fee that they now levy that you have to pay, and you can pay it at the immigration desk, and they also have barcodes where you can pay it electronically, I believe. As best as you can, try to make sure that you figure out where the desk is before you come to the airport. Ask these questions at the hotel if possible, because when you get to the airport, people are going to hustle you. People are going to give you misdirection, wrong information. It's just very, very irritating. So if you can know exactly where you're going and what you're doing before you get to the airport, that's going to be a better experience for you. I have found great flight deals out of Cancun to Europe especially, but I always skip them because I don't want to fly out of the airport because I cannot deal with the airport and the foolishness that comes with it. Now here's another example of something that happened to me in Cancun, the $80 airport taxi. Once I was flying out of Cancun to Europe and I used hotel points to stay at the Hilton Garden Inn inside of the airport complex. The airport hotel, the Hilton Garden Inn, told me to message them on WhatsApp when I landed so they could send the airport shuttle to pick me up from Terminal 2, which is where I was coming in on a domestic flight from another part of Mexico. But when I landed, my phone wouldn't connect inside the baggage claim. So I stepped outside to try again, and this man literally leaned over my shoulder, looked at my phone and said, "You can't call Uber here, but I can get you a taxi." And that's because I had looked at Uber to see if I could get a taxi. And he looked over my shoulder. And I'm like, first of all, why are you looking over my shoulder, sir? Secondly, mind your business. Out of curiosity, I asked him how much it would cost to get to the hotel because I was having difficulty connecting to the hotel on WhatsApp. That man looked me in my face and said $80. I said pesos. That man said US dollars and dinero to go less than 5 minutes up the road. When I told him no, he dropped it to 40 US dollars and dinero, and I still said no. I finally got a signal. I called the hotel and they sent the shuttle. But while I was waiting, at least 10 different people came up to me trying to get me into a taxi and quoting me all kinds of ridiculous prices to drive me less than 5 minutes up the street. And this happens because Uber doesn't officially operate in Cancun and they're not allowed to come into the airport. The taxi union organization, whatever you want to call it, is very unfriendly towards Uber drivers. So when you arrive, you have to have a way to get from the airport to your hotel or your Airbnb. My advice, don't engage with the taxi drivers. Book your transportation in advance. Use a legitimate car service, shuttle, or hotel transfer. Do not figure it out when you land. You will get hustled. There are a lot of shuttle services. There's also a bus you can take to get into the hotel zone that's very inexpensive. But if you don't want to fight up with your luggage on a bus, there's several shuttle services. Book them in advance. You can find transportation from the airport on booking.com as well as on TripAdvisor, and I think also on Expedia. So real quick, here are some quick travel tips for Cancun. 1, book your airport transfer before you land. Don't rely on taxis. 9 times out of 10, you'll get scammed. 2, carry small bills, 50s and 100 peso denominations, so drivers can't do the I don't have any change trick with you. 3, manage your expectations about the food. You can get great international cuisine there, Japanese, Greek, Italian, but I don't think you're going to get the best Mexican food inside of the hotel zone. Now, there is one restaurant I really like called Rosa Negra. I highly recommend it, but you got to do your homework about getting authentic Mexican food in Cancun before you get there, because a lot of the stuff you're going to get is watered down. Now, let's talk about safety and security. People often ask me, is Cancun unsafe? And my answer is, Cancun is about as safe as Miami or Nassau, Bahamas, or any other major city that you might visit in the world. Meaning, you should always be aware of your surroundings, keep an eye on your belongings, and as a woman, if you're traveling solo especially, you need to be very aware of where you go by yourself, especially at night. Make sure you have reliable car, transportation, don't walk anywhere. If you use common sense and practical situational awareness, you will be fine in Cancun. What you do need to avoid are drug-related situations. Let's just be honest. A lot of incidents that occur that you hear about in Cancun involve people looking to buy or use controlled substances. And then when something bad happens, they leave that part out. If you're not into that kind of stuff, you'll probably be fine in Cancun. So safety-wise, you're about as safe in Cancun, in my opinion, as you are in any major tourist destination. You just have to watch out for scams, frankly, not necessarily violence. If you want detailed tips on how to protect yourself while traveling solo, please check out my travel safety guide for solo female travelers. I wrote it specifically with us in mind, and it's linked to the description of this video. You can also find it on my website. It covers everything from airport security and transportation and safety, hotel safety, things that you should take with you on your trip to keep yourself safe and secure and to keep your belongings safe and secure. So where do I think you should go instead if you want a tropical vacation in Mexico, but you don't want to go to Cancun? I say go to Isla Holbox, or it's spelled Holbox, but it's pronounced Holbox. It takes effort. It's about 2 to 3 hours by car or bus from Cancun to Chiquila and then a ferry to the island. But to me, it is so worth it. Holbox has no cars, just bikes and golf carts. The beaches are white sand. The water is turquoise blue. The food is incredible. And the people are genuinely kind, as you're going to find all around Mexico. It's beautiful, it's peaceful, and it still feels authentic. Holbox is what people think Tulum is. It's laid back, stylish, and actually relaxing. And I just pray they don't turn it into another Tulum. Now, here's the thing. So to you, Cancun might be great, and that's fine. If you went and you like to just sit in all-inclusives and never actually be anywhere else except to maybe go to a bar or restaurant, then that's your idea of a vacation, and that's fine. It's just not my idea of a vacation. So as somebody who likes to wander and does not want someone to create an experience for me, I want to create my own experience. Cancun is just not a place that I enjoy. I feel the same way about Tulum. and lesser so about Playa. Actually, out of the three, would prefer Playa above the other two places, but really, I don't really enjoy that part of Mexico at all, and it's not a place that I go to intentionally. I will only go if I really have a reason to go, but it's not a place that I ever think, wow, I really want to go to the beach. I'm going to go to Cancun, or I'm going to go to Tulum. So here's the sad thing. Most people who have been to Mexico have only been to maybe Cancun, Tulum, or possibly Playa del Carmen. Those are probably the three least favorite places for me, with Cancun being number one. In my humble opinion, there are lots of other places to visit in Mexico where you can get the beaches and the sand, but not all the hustle and the scams. So I'll do a separate video about some of the other places in Mexico that I think that you should consider if you're looking for sun and fun, but you don't want to deal with being hustled and scammed. I think that Cancun and Playa and Tulum are very much designed for tourists. Tulum at least used to feel more authentic. When I went back there in 2018, it still had a very authentic soul to it. Now it's just another overpriced influencer trap. I was very disappointed when I went there in 2020, and I decided I would never go back. Cancun, though, gets the crown as my least favorite place in Mexico. Beautiful beaches, nice resorts, but overall, just not for me. I'll be doing another video, as I said, soon, where I will rate the other places that I've been in Mexico, and I will also do a separate video, a really quick one, about what places that are beach places that I think are better options. If you guessed that Cancun was the place I was going to say when I said I was going to my least favorite place, you were absolutely right. Now tell me in the comments, have you been to Cancun? What did you think of it? Did you love it, or do you agree that it does not feel authentically Mexican? Now, if you've never been to Mexico, you might not know what authentically Mexico is. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please make sure you hit the like button. Please subscribe, comment, but do so constructively and respectfully. And hit the notification bell so you never miss when I drop another video. And don't forget, style has no expiration date, and travel is the best self-care there is. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.